And here we go. Lights, camera, Torah. We are live. Of course. Okay, welcome to the Nova Nexus, the Noahide Nexus, the Nexus, James the Idol Smasher at gmail.com, at the Idol Smasher. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Nexus every Thursday, 8 p.m. right here on Rumble. We also live stream to YouTube and X, and you can find us there. And also, we got it back on Facebook, so folks over there can now tune in, which they haven't been able to do from Rumble for quite a while. So glad to be here, glad to have you here, and thank you again for showing up. We're going to put a link right over here in the side chat. It's going out to everybody. We're going to go all streams. Anybody that accepts it here in the chat, you're going to see a Rumble Studio link. That is the link to get in here and chat live. We can debate. We can talk. You have a question, comment, compliment, complaint. And as always, folks, we will take your suggestions as well. So we do appreciate it. Just a good cheer. And all you need is a microphone. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. Moving along this week, boy, a lot of stuff happened in the news and a whole bunch of nothing burgers in the news as well. The whole Epstein thing's really choking up Gen Z and the millennials and the alleged libertarians. They're becoming about as dogmatic as Democrats at this point. Libertarians are. Sad to see it happen. I always called myself one until there are just too many of them who hate Jews. I mean, a lot of libertarians. They got some crazies over there, some hate crazy people crazy on hate. And we believe and we believe. If you're libertarian, you believe it. Don't tell me what I believe. It doesn't have nothing to do with our beliefs. But it's becoming rather dogmatic. And Epstein, we want the Epstein files. We want it. We don't care if there's nothing there. We want it anyway. Wah! You got some files. You're not going to find out. You will never find out what you want, because what you want is probably worse than reality. And I've had a few Epstein jokes in my day over the past 5-6 years. It's not like I haven't joined in a little bit here and there, but it's getting a little old. For a long time, people with no evidence have claimed Epstein didn't kill himself, and Epstein has a sex ring where all the bad people we don't like are members. Isn't that convenient for libertarians? Because it's all the people they don't like, so they're the ones. And it's the same thing with Republicans too, and Democrats are just joining in to stir up stuff. We want everything released and put on a website for the public to see. It's like, yeah, most of that's child porn, and we don't want to see that. Thanks, Democrats. But I'm not surprised that you would want that up there on a public website, because it sounds like people who would defend commies and groomers. What else is going on in the world? Israel's kicking tail. We might have a solution on Gaza. We'll let the leadership go, but they can never come back. They will be exiled if this goes through. And let the Gazans do what they have to do. You'd be really surprised how happy they are, to get aid directly from the U.S. and a private contractor and the Israelis. No middleman, okay? No UNRWA, no UN. It's straight up, and we're trying to help these people. Believe it or not, we are kind of a force for good. Americans are. I don't know about the single president at a time. I'd say very few of them are. Don't like weapons going to Ukraine, but then again, we're not paying for them, and we're already involved. We should be getting out of that as soon as possible. Another wonderful thing the Democrats got for us was a war with Russia and Ukraine. Thanks. When really you could, we could make a deal with them. But other things happening in the news, I just want to say when it comes to rocking the Zionism, because Zionism rocks. Okay, it's the ultimate. I don't mean to say it like this, because it's the thing that people don't like to hear, are that I found that a lot of people who are just tired of the whole hearing about the Jews thing is they don't like the victimhood. They people say, and I had said this 15, 20 years ago, that it just seems like it's a little much, constantly reminding everybody of the Holocaust, the Holocaust, the Holocaust, the Holocaust. Yes, there's a Holocaust Remembrance Day. Should we remember it? Yes. Proudly, we Americans stopped it. We helped. We had a good hand in stopping that. But I always felt that, and I don't like the Jews being the underdog. I just don't like that. It's like, hasn't God done enough to them? Now we've got to dump a bunch of stuff on them too for our own personal reasons. I don't know about all that. But I would say it is definitely an underdog story, and the ultimate underdog story. They bought parts of this basically at the time. It was like a desert for ridiculous prices, made some Arabs really rich, and now look at it. Now they now they blow their enemies up with their own pagers. Come on, what they pulled off in the 12-day war, what they pulled off. Period. What happens when Israel acts and God is with them? How do we know God is with them? Because they're there. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, you tell Jews around the world, or anybody around the world, that the Jews would not only be able to set themselves up back in their homeland, but they keep it against all odds. Nobody would believe you. They call you crazy. The fact that they're there. If you read your text and you read your Torah and you pay attention and you learn a little bit and you don't just go with your own, you maybe follow a rabbi. Maybe you can tune into a lot of the live streams that Torah observant folks do and learn something. You're going to learn that this is prophecy coming true. 2,000 years plus, like 2,700 years, prophecy coming true. What you're seeing now, that's why it's so significant. And that's what makes it so badass. I mean, badass. Jews are not weak. They're never meant to be weak. And God's been angry with them. And God's had them in exile for quite some time. And it hasn't exactly been pleasant. But they've helped bring the world about. They've done their part where they can. And now they're coming home. And they're staying home. So, yeah, Zionism is cool. I don't care what you say. I'm an all-American. I am an all-American Zionist. I am flat out. I am an all-American. Okay, I talk like an American. I think like an American. I am a big liberty guy. I'm more of an anarchist at this point. But I put my own country first. But my prayers are with Israel too. See, that's the neat thing about God is nothing's too small for him. So I can love more than one country. And being a Ger Ben Noach, a Ger Toshav, whatever you want to call me, Noahide, they're mine. I'm kind of with them anyway. So you can put me with any nation you want to. I got a lot of Scot blood, apparently, which is Celt. But a little other European stuff thrown in the mix there. A little bit of Native American Indian. But I stand with Israel. And when the United States is long gone, I will still stand with Israel, whether they have a state or not. It's not the state of Israel. It's not the Knesset I stand with. I stand with the children of Israel. A lot of other people do too, like Druze. You heard about that? Another attempted genocide. They're Arabs, but they're not Muslim. And they're getting wiped out just for being that way in Syria, or the area we call Syria. I'm not even sure it's a country yet. Maybe they'll get it together. Who knows? I wish the Syrian people the best because they've been between Obama and everybody else around them, they're really getting the shaft. I miss Syrian Latakia tobacco. That was probably the most delicious pipe tobacco I've ever smoked. And we try to impersonate it elsewhere, including here in the States, but nothing was like a Syrian Latakia. There was just nothing like it. And thanks to Obama, I'll never be able to smoke it again. Probably, I might see it in 20, 30 years or something, maybe before I'm dead. But I'm probably never going to smoke that again. And that's too bad. That was a lot of things we're going to miss. A lot of things are going to change because Israel's back. The world's going to change. We are going to change. Half of us are still 3 hairs away from Neanderthal. Okay. We do have a ways to go, but here's a change right here. I brought this up to my buddy the other night. This is a game I love. I get my old holiday book for the kiddos. Hang on a minute. This is one of my favorite all-time tabletop games. You can call it a board game. They call it a board game. John, if you're watching, Yohanan, if you are watching, yes, this is a board game. Car Wars. It's a combination of Death Race 3000 and Mad Max, okay? It's set in the like a lot of games, set in the dystopian future. When everything's gone wrong, and now we're having gladiatorial games of people blowing each other up in big arenas or on racetracks with cars. And I was just thinking to myself, that's so passé because my head is no longer doesn't leave a lot of room for that future anymore. Um, because that's not the future. Maybe that's why it's been pushed for so long. Is the earth will die in a ball of flame, or global warming. Thanks. Um, not into it, man. Not into that. So yeah, a lot of things do change. Like this, the car wars is going to be difficult to tell people about this dystopian future while also telling people about our destiny as a species and as of children of God. Really, not everybody's going to make it. Just ask Pinchas. Not everybody makes it, but purge evil from your midst. And a meme I keep around just for such a thing. You can't beat it. It's true. Hey, let's just move on to meme of the week, shall we? Let's do some memes of the week. Okay, before I do a meme, a couple of quotes. The Mossad. Okay, so one of the big things, because and this is why Jews have got to watch their asses in the world, man. You can't be a schmuck because then they're going to judge all of you by that. Okay, that's just the way they are, and y'all are special and different, and you're going to come off special and different no matter what you do. My fellow Jew, if you're watching, don't be a schmuck because you're going to make a life hard for a lot of other people. So one of the big conspiracy theories, it's just a rumor, it's a trend, it's stupid, is that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent and was using Jeffrey to blackmail Americans so that Israel can get what they want out of the American government and control them. Control like a puppet master with strings, and they all obey. Sarcasm. So this is the Mossad. This is answering back. About this is just a post they made or a tweet or whatever you call it nowadays. Sorry, we were too busy with Hamas leader eliminations, Stuxnet's Natanz sabotage, smuggling the Iranian regime's entire nuclear archives. Um, the Fakhrizadeh assassination, eliminating Haniyeh, getting Hezbollah to buy explosive pagers and walkie-talkies, operating a drone factory in Tehran, and meticulously planning the elimination of top IRGC generals to be running a sex island. And I thought that was wonderful. So here, I'm going to get, here's the Mossad. Jews got humor. They do have humor. That goes out to you guys out there and for the other work you've done, but that right there. So another quote. We're going to start the memes of the week off. Tell me in the comment section below what meme you think should be meme of the week when I'm done here. I make my own, but I got other words, and I still use memes from like 10 years ago that still work. They're really great. But this is not one from 10 years ago. Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth? Okay, a real meme. Here we go. Yes, I consider myself an all-American anti-communist. Oh, and communism too. Anti-communism and anti-communists. You should be sent away somewhere. Okay. Yeah. I think they're waking up now because they're finding out that this isn't really that the side of Islam or the side of Muslims that is constantly presented to you is crazy. That the number of vocal ones are dwindling. 30, 40 years ago, it was death to the USA coming out of the mouths of Iranians. Today, you can hear them chanting death to the dictator. Okay? So, things can change. Just ask the sons of Korach. That's something else we'll be talking about today in the Parsha. All right. Meme of the week. Here we go. Yes, that's right. Of course. Those judges. Yes. Here's a neat one. Here. I'm a pizza guy myself. That's the new Chicago style pizza, ladies and gentlemen. This one's always good right here. Can't believe you shot an eagle on the 9th. And in talking golf, and down below there's Anderson Cooper on CNN. Just in case you're listening, I'm not on a podcast. I don't know why I'm talking the meme to you. Trump just shot 9 bald eagles because that's what they do. I'm in journalism. I'm helping. And finally, okay, thank you very much. There is the meme of the week. This week, I think, isn't even going to have to be the meme. I think it's just going to be this right here. Congratulations, Mr. Baldwin. You are a sad but at times funny meme and useful for a cheap laugh. Okay. Are we done? Have I got them all done? Did we get them all out there? Okay. The final one, which we have to remind everybody of, this is what happens when you do not purge evil from your midst. You've been taught to coddle evil. You've been taught to forgive evil. You've been taught to explain away evil. We talk about mental health. Well, it starts somewhere, doesn't it? And to say that, oh, well, these people do these horrific things because of bad mental health or mental health issues. That's obviously Captain Obvious is obviously obvious. I get that. Um, but mental health should be a daily thing. If they were speaking on a more preventative or proactive approach than just explaining away um, the evil that men do. They want to fix the evil in men, but you got to get rid of the evil men too. I mean, genuinely evil people. You can't. I'm not a prison guy. I'm not a prison guy. I'm not fond of our court system. I'm not sure anybody would get a fair shake. Who knows? I know that I got a fair shake, but it was rough and rocky, and I'm not sure it should have been that off because the deficiencies were from those trying to prosecute me were enormous and silly and a waste of my time. Really, I don't like wasting time. Um, I don't like wasting anybody, really, or anything except communism. I would say I can't waste communists, but they might get mad at me, and I don't want to say that because you can convert a communist. They're not all bad in the end. People do convert. People do discover something called what's it called? Economics. Yes, and when they can learn basic economics, it's a beautiful thing. So let's see here. I'm going to go to let me give you another link. There is a link in the description below, but just in case it's not there, I want to give it to you right now in the live chat. This is not going to be private. We're not doing that. Nope, 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 no. This is a link to this week's Torah portion. This is what we do here every Thursday. We take a look at the Torah. Sometimes we go off and talk politics forever. But this is where we're going to be reading. Oh, yes, one more thing I wanted to get to before we go there, before we go a little deeper into Torah. By the way, to Rosalie, Rosalie's not joining us tonight. Her mother's getting some health care done. We'll just say it that way. I'm not going to talk about that, but she's her mom's in surgery right now. We'll just say that. So Rosalie can't make it this week. Hopefully we'll see it next week. So it might be a little short this week as we were short last week. Last week, though, was because of Superman. And all I want to say is it's not woke. It pokes fun at our current culture, and that's good. A little poking. It's very positive. It's the Superman movie we need because it's all the stuff. It's all the Superman they tried to shave off of the Henry Cavill, who was brilliant, and it was a brilliant take. And I loved Zack Snyder's Justice League, but this is more 1950s Silver Era Superman, and it's good. It's good. It's genuinely a good, fun movie. You and your kids will love it. It's worth your time. It's a good film. This week, though, it's just in case Rosalie doesn't get to talk to me and I run out of a voice because I'm not doing this as professionally as I used to anymore. Yeah, I was a radio broadcaster for nearly 20 years, worked in television as well, and let me tell you, if you're anywhere left of Mao or right of Mao, you probably don't belong there, sadly. Big money. Funny how big money supports so much power over the people. Isn't that interesting? So, okay, before we get into the Torah text, I want to talk about one more thing. And it was brought up in the Noahide debates group on Facebook. We were back and forth on this. I just want to make something kind of clear. Everybody thinks the rabbis came up with the 7 Noahide laws. The rabbis did not invent the 7 Noahide laws. The Sheva Mitzvot Hashem, the 7 divine commandments is what they're actually called. Noahide is an 18th century adjective we use as a noun today. So, like adulting. It's kind of a stupid word people keep saying. the rabbis did not invent. The rabbis did not come up with. The rabbis did not dream up, as I heard some guy say it today. He dreamt up the Noahide code. I'm like, oh, they dreamt it up. Is it really? Really? They also think that we worship the Rambam, as one guy says. I mean, you got crazy people out there. This is why you got to get it straight, Jews, because you got crazy people out there who will think crazy stuff about you if you just kind of hide away and try and be, what's the word? Meek. Be meek when you have to, and be a lion when you can be a kitty cat and you can be a lion. Your choice. Both are kind of nice, but don't hide the lion. The rabbis codified the seven divine commandments. They didn't invent them. They codified them. They get it all. And people are very surprised the Talmud is actually commentary on an actual biblical text. It's right smack dab in the center of a page. And the commentary goes off like that. It's like advanced glossing before glossing. You might want to look at it that way. I don't know, but it's all comes from the Torah. All of it comes from the written Torah. Yes, there is oral tradition, like how to speak Hebrew. You're not going to learn that in the Torah. Properly slaughtering an animal. I mean, there's ways to do it to get the blood out, but what's the best way? Well, okay. So there are some things that you're not going to find there. I get that. But everything about the seven divine commandments comes straight out, smack dab out of Torah. That is all written down. Okay? And all the rabbis did was take the stuff that doesn't specifically belong, a law, a commandment that doesn't specifically, doesn't involve specifically Israel or given directly to them, like eating kosher. That was commanded to Israel. The Shabbos, the seventh day, resting on Sabbath. That's given to them and them only. It was not given to anybody else. You don't get to get in on it. I can sort of do Shabbos. I can't do Shabbos like a Jew. Jews have 37 things they can't do. Why? Because the busiest people in the nation were the priests at the temple. If it's stuff that they can't do, that's stuff you can't do too. Not a rabbinical invention, because it comes from Torah. Same thing with the 7 laws of Noah. All the stuff that is not Israel specific, that doesn't pertain directly to Israel and Israel alone, is universal. Sometimes it's blatantly spoken as universal. Any man who blasphemes is put to death. Anybody who curses God is put to death. That's universal. Any man. When it says any man, that means any man. Any soul who wants to bring an offering, for instance. It says any soul who wants to bring an offering to God. It doesn't say any Jew. It doesn't say any Israelite. It doesn't say any Levite. It doesn't say the sinless can bring an offering. Any soul who wants to give an offering at the temple. Here's how it's done. Murder is obviously a no-no. That's one of the first we learn. Theft is another one. These are in Genesis alone. Now, just to get to if you're not making the connection, let me tell you how, because these Jews are thinkers. These sages, these rabbis, these are brainy people. These are Bible nerds, like computer nerds who can just repair a motherboard in an hour, or nerds. Well, when it comes to the Bible and the biblical Hebrew, Jews are the nerds. Okay. So they think, and they think smart. I think maybe that's an approach we should all have. Is we should take that, maybe speak as if you're the person you're teaching might be clever, it might help. But the Jewish people, they see so the sages, the rabbis, they see that there are 7. All these universal laws fall into 7 categories, and they're all universal, so they apply to everybody. Well, Genesis 9 says this is the covenant, and he says covenant 7 times throughout that chapter, by the way. God says the word covenant is mentioned, the covenant 7 times. And there happen to be 7 categories of law in the Torah that apply to all people that are not Israel specific. Gee. That's how it was done. And that's how the non-Jew is adjudicated in Torah. If we are in biblical Israel, I mean, like when I say biblical, I mean there's a temple, there's offering, there's a jubilee counting, there are There's a house for all the nations, and you go there and you're accused of a crime. You will be judged by Noahide law. You will be judged by the 7 divine commandments. That's how you're judged. It's the same Torah. The Jews keep all those laws too. The Jews keep every single 7, every one of the 7, every one of them. The Jews just, have more. You might call them ritual, and I guess there are some that are ritual. I guess you might say that the Passover Seder is a ritual. And what we do, the shofar and whatnot on Rosh Hashanah is a ritual. You might even, but it's it's kind of commanded. Some of this, like afflict yourselves on Yom Kippur. That's ability. You have to do it. None of you shall do any work. That's to Israel. He's talking to Israel. Then he talks about the non-Jew. And there's never a non-Jew in Torah. You ever notice that? Or Talmud? There's never a word for non-Jew. You've got righteous, you got semi-righteous, you got strange, you've got way out there people, idolaters. You've got all kinds of words to mention anybody who's not Jewish, but non-Jew as a word alone, in a general term, doesn't exist in the Talmud. So when the non-Jew comes to learn Talmud after his Torah study and after he's been learning, and he starts to read the Talmud and see how it's working, how the conversation, because it is a living conversation, how this conversation works, he won't see me, the non-Jew, me, the Noahide, versus them. The Noahide, the Ben Noach is in there, but he's in there with many other folks, kinds of folks. So I just wanted to get that clear. It's that I've said it before. I said it again. I just want to get it out there one more time that the Noahide law comes from the written first and foremost. It's all there. All right. Now I miss my Rosalie. Miss you, Rosalie. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Most of I will say 80% of the folks who watch the show do watch it after the show's aired. So if there's a better time that, you would like to see it run, maybe we can make it happen. Put me a comment down below. That would be real swell. Let me know. Some folks need it to be a little later, and I don't know if I could pull that off because the girls are going to school earlier this year. I don't even know if I could pull it off being late and then getting up and getting them to school. I need my sleep. I'm a grouchy old schmuck. Pinchas, man, this dude, God was very happy with him this week. Let me open up some Torah text here. I'm going to open up last week's Torah portion. Oh, they're not giving me the, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, last week. More kvetching. More and more kvetching. Here we go. Okay, I need to go to all Parshas. This isn't working. Folks at Chabad, boy, you guys keep it going, don't you? Y'all keep it going. I tell you, the complete Parsha list. There we go. They just change stuff and keep it fresh and keep it moving, and they've already got a whole new section that I've never seen. It's not blue; it's purple now, and we're learning. It's a little different. I was not expecting that, and wasn't sure I couldn't get where I was going to go. So we're going to go back to Balak and the final event. Israel. This is by the way, I'm backing up. I'm not exactly where we're at in the Parsha. I'm just reading last week's Parsha, so because we open up with God's zeal, and this is what got his zeal going. Israel settled in Shittim. The people began to stray with the daughters of the Moabites. They invited the people to the feast offerings of their gods, and the people ate and prostrated themselves to their gods. Israel became attached to Baal Peor. God became angry with Israel. God said to Moses, "Take all the leaders of the people and hang the guilty before God, facing the sun. Then God's anger will be removed from Israel." Moses said to the judges of Israel, "Each of you must kill his men who became attached to Baal Peor." This is the basically the it's one of the false gods. You hear a few names. This is one of them. An Israelite man came and brought the Midianite woman to his brethren in the sight of Moses and in the sight of the entire community of the Israelites. They were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Pinchas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, saw and arose from the community and took a spear in his hand. He went after the Israelite man into the tent and pierced both of them, the Israelite man and the woman, through their stomach, and the plague against the Israelites ceased. Those who died in the plague numbered 24,000. So, in this week's Parsha, it opens up Numbers chapter 25, verse 10. God spoke to Moses, saying, "Pinchas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, diverted my anger from the Israelites by zealously avenging me among them. I therefore did not destroy the Israelites because of my zeal." That's like, he was angry, and then Pinchas did that, and he's like, yes, that right there. You know what? I'm done. I'm not even mad anymore. I've had such a good day. My zeal, the zeal. If you can imagine your own zeal, an attribute apparently we can share with the Lord as well, or an attribute of behavior or a being. My zeal, zealousness, removing the evil from among you. I'm not sure if anybody got that, but just in case you just tuned in, my favorite meme of the week. Okay. Therefore, I bestow my covenant of peace upon him. It will be for him and for his descendants after him, the eternal covenant of priesthood, because he was zealous for his God and atoned for the Israelites. The name of the Israelite man who was killed, who was slain with the Midianite woman, was Zimri, son of Salu, prince of the paternal house of the tribe of Simeon. The name of the Midianite woman who was slain was Cosbi, daughter of Tsur. She was a national leader of a paternal house in Midian. God remembers their names. God has us remember their names. God spoke to Moses, saying, "Distress the Midianites. You must smite them, for they were hostile to you with their plots that they contrived against you in the incident with Peor, and in the incident with their sister Cosbi, daughter of the Midianite prince, who was slain on the day of the plague that I unleashed because of Peor." After the plague, God spoke to Moses and Eleazar, son of Aaron, saying, "Take a census of the entire community of the Israelites, 20 years and over, following their paternal houses, all those in Israel who are fit to serve in the army." Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan River opposite Jericho, saying, 25 years or older, just as God commanded Moses and the Israelites who came out of Egypt. These are the ancestors of the people coming back to Israel. To many, many people, the Bible are stories. I mean, you talk and you mention it, and these are in many ways fairy tales. They're Isaiah in the Bible, but they don't realize that was an actual man, a living, breathing human being, a historical place. The tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs. It's a real place. Those are real people. This is history. It's not far off, fairy tales, and this really happened. These are real people. They've been spread out, and they're coming home from all four corners of the earth. Now, a lot of this I'm going to be a lot of this that what we read or what we're getting in the Parsha this week is much repetition. Every household is treated the same. About who the descendants of the tribe who they're descended from. Their names are given, and the number of those in the party, not counting the elderly and not counting children. This is what's interesting. It's going to be in verse 11, where we at chapter 26. But I want to back up a little bit. The sons of Eliav were Numuel, Dathan, and Aviram. It was Dathan and Aviram, the chosen of the community, who incited against Moses and Aaron among the community of Korach, when they incited against God. You remember Korach. Not too long ago, we discussed him. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, and Korach, when that community died, swallowed up them and Korach, when that community died, and when fire consumed 250 men, and they all became a sign. Verse 11, Korach's sons did not die. It goes on to talk about the descendants of Simeon, the descendants of Gad, the descendants of Judah. They go through all the tribes, but in the middle, I mean, just Korach's sons did not die. Now, this is the interesting bit right here. Let me go to Rashi's commentary, which is a neat thing they provide at Chabad. They might add to the text in non-bold letters to help you read more smoothly, I suppose. Korach's sons did not die. This is Rashi commentary. They were originally among those planning the rebellion, but during the conflict they had thoughts of repentance in their hearts. Therefore, when they were swallowed up into the ground, a shelter was provided for them at a high place underground, and they remained there. And then in the commentary here from Chabad, it says emerging only now after that generation had died out. And I found out later, what was that? It was in Numbers. I was reading Dennis Prager. All right, let me get up my Dennis Prager. Hey, Dennis, I'm glad you're having your good days out there. You are well missed, but I keep in touch with you a lot because I still hear you. I hear your voice when I'm reading your biblical commentary. This is the true layman's beginning to commentary. When you get a Chumash, like a Stone Edition or a Hertz or a Gutnick or Chabad has a new one now. You're going to get commentary, and he does some good stuff. Dennis Prager, The Rational Bible. This is his latest release, and God willing, he's able to finish Deuteronomy, Devarim. I really look forward to that one too. Korach's sons. Where was that? Hang on just a moment. The sons of Korach, however, did not die. Although Korach was the leader in the rebellion against Moses, his sons were not punished. In fact, Korach's descendants went on to write many psalms that were later recited in the temple, and which became both part of the book of Psalms and an important part of the synagogue liturgy. The titles of Psalms 42, 44 through 49, 84, 85, 87, and 88 attribute those psalms to the sons of Korach. Korach's children were not only not punished, they were actually honored by the Bible. It is a tenet of the Torah that children are not to be held accountable for the sins of their parents. It is enshrined in the Torah law that forbids punishing a child for a parent's sins. See Deuteronomy 24:16. The Bible later notes the startling fact of the prophet Samuel was a direct descendant of Korach. I just thought that it stood out when I read that, and it never really hit me. I guess now every time you read the Torah, always there's something. And my Hebrew's terrible. My Hebrew's not great, I should say. And still, I learned something new out of it. It's such a well put together text. It would be, being God's word and all. Uh, yeah, but I thought that was interesting. Korach just popped out. You get the story, but then Korach's sons did not die. Interesting, huh? A good deal of this is of this week's Parsha is reminding us of the tribes, the census that's taken after the incident with Korach and the 250 who died in the fire, and how they will divide up the land. Of course, the most populated, the more populated the tribes, the bigger portion of the land. And the smaller, less populated tribe gets less land. It's very laid out, pretty easy. They tally the Levites separately as well. A little something about people who think that it's a patriarchy in the Bible. Yes, men do stuff, but men kind of invent reasons to be around and to do things. Men created government, not women. Don't blame us. It's just the way it is. Okay. Are women less than? Is this? And I'm a little story. We'll get to 27 verse 2, or we'll just start at the top here. The daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came forward. His daughters' names were Machlah, Noah, with a Noah, or Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moses, before Eleazar the priest, and before the princes of the entire community at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, Our father died in the desert. He was not part of the community that convened against God in Korach's community. Rather, he died on his own, on account of his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should our father's name be eliminated from his family because he had no son? Give us an estate along with our father's brothers. Moses brought her case before God. God spoke to Moses, saying, Zelophehad's daughters speak correctly. Give, yes, you must give them an estate of land inheritance along with their father's brothers, and you must transfer their father's inheritance to them. And here we go. Speak to the Israelites, saying, If a man dies and has no son, you must transfer his inheritance to his daughter. If he has no daughter, you must give his inheritance to his brothers. See, this is why when I watch stuff like Game of Thrones, it just... if he has no daughter, you must give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, you must give his inheritance to his father's brother. If his father has no brothers, you must give his inheritance to the closest relative in his family who must inherit it. This will be the legal rule for the Israelites as God commanded Moses. Bada boom, bada bing. Separate but equal. Separate but equal. We have fooled ourselves in my country, in the West too, believing that in order for there to be equality between men and women, women have to be like men. They have to wear shoulder pads. My pads. You got to wear shoulder pads, or they have to be. They feel like they have to be aggressive, which doesn't make you more masculine, ladies. It just makes you insufferable. Shake hands like a man, and do all the things that men do. Well, you need a career because you're worth it. I'm not saying a woman can't work, develop a skill, or it's not about that. It's you don't need a man, girl. You don't need him. They've done a number on women. A lot of women suckered up for it too, and it's too bad. It's too bad. In Torah, women were always equal, separate but equal. In fact, God seems to always be a little more easy with the women than the men. All right, we're coming up on 8:45 here live. Live chat. Anybody in live chat? Oh no, we'll get the numbers later. So thank you for watching. I would like to see more people here. Live Thursday night used to be the place to be for a long time, and I had to step back for reasons that are. I wish I had now. If I would have known that I'd be kicked out for being on the right of Mao, that I wouldn't have a career. I might have stuck around a little longer, but I took a schedule and I took a job that um, got in the way, and I never should have let it happen. But you live, you learn. Not going to let that happen again. By the way, L'chaim, quick, my whistle here. Hang on a minute. We are in Jeremiah chapter 1 for this week's Haftorah reading. Something else we read every week. Might be better with my glasses on. I don't know why, but sometimes I do read a little better. Even on a computer. And for those of you tuning in for the first time or who don't know when I say Haftorah, I'm not saying Haftorah. It's Haftarah. It's a section of the Hebrew Bible directly pertaining to what was taught in this week's Parsha, but is not of the Parsha, not of the Torah itself. And this week we're in the prophet of Jeremiah, chapter 1. The words of Jeremiah, son of Hilkiah, of the priests who were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. And he was in the days of Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the end of 11 years of Zedekiah, son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the exile of Jerusalem in the 5th month. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, when I had not yet formed you in the womb, I knew you. And when you had not yet emerged from the womb, I had appointed you. A prophet to the nations, I made you. And I said, alas, O Lord God, behold, I know not to speak, for I am a youth. And the Lord said to me, saying, say not, I am a youth, for wherever I send you, you shall go, and whatever I command you, you shall speak. Fear them not, for I am with you to save you, says the Lord. It's probably one of the most common things repeated throughout the entire Torah is do not fear. And the Lord stretched out his hand and reached my mouth. And the Lord said to me, behold, I have placed my words in your mouth. Behold, I have appointed you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms to uproot and to crush and to destroy and to demolish and to build and to plant. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, what do you see, Jeremiah? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Now remember last week? Was it last week's Parsha when Aaron's staff grew an olive branch and it bared fruit? I see the rod of an almond tree. And the Lord said to me, you have seen well, for I hasten my word to accomplish it. And the word of the Lord came to me a second time, saying, what do you see? And I said, I see a bubbling pot, whose foam is toward the north. And the Lord said to me, from the north the misfortune will break upon all the inhabitants of the land. For behold, I am summoning all the families of the kingdoms of the north, says the Lord, and they will come and place, each one his throne at the entrance of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all its walls around, and against all the cities of Judah. And I will utter my judgments against them concerning all their evil, that they left me and offered up burnt offerings to other gods, and they prostrated themselves to the work of their hands, their own hands. And you shall gird your loins and arise and speak to them all that I commanded you Be not dismayed by them, lest I break you before them. And I, behold, I have made you today into a fortified city, and into an iron pillar, and into copper walls against the entire land, against the kings of Judah, against its princes, against its priests, and against the people of the land. And they shall fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you, for I am with you, says the Lord, to save you. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Go and call out into the ears of Jerusalem, saying, So said the Lord, I remember to you the loving kindness of your youth, the love of your nuptials, you following me in the desert and in a land not sown. Israel is holy to the Lord, the first of his grain. All who eat him shall be guilty. Evil shall befall them, says the Lord. Now, the first fruits you offer to God, you don't eat. Or for Israel, anyway. Gosh. We have a garden going. Should we not eat the first fruits that bloom on it? Something for the rabbis. And that is our Haftorah of the week for the Parsha Pinchas. So enjoy a shish kebab. Yeah, that's it. Shish kebabs on Shabbat. Shabbat shish kebab. Ooh. Pinchas Shabbat shish kebab. I don't know what the Jewish, the Hebrew, or the Yidden word is for shish kebab, but that might be fun. That might be fun. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you stopping by the Nexus this week. We're going to go ahead and get off of here for the night. You can find us at the Orphans of Abraham, at the Idol Smasher, and buy me a coffee .com/the Idol Smasher. Would like to I'm in the corner of the Radio Shack, and I have to move all the stuff out of the way so it's almost presentable. So we'd like to do more with the show. We'd like to expand it a bit. And if you would like, you like this kind of thing to continue, you want to be part of it, you want to throw me a bone, buymeacoffee.com/the Idol Smasher. Again, thank you. Be well, all. We'll see you next week. My love to Rosalie out there and taking care of business with her mom. And to all of you, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Shabbat Shalom.